Hi guys, this is Mrs. Cerami with another part of 9.4. Today we're talking about arithmetic sequences. You've seen a basic part of this back in middle school, and we're going to actually go into more detail and combine the explicit form that we talked about before break and recursive form that we did before break as well. So as an overview, and then I will be simplifying it with doing problems with you guys. Arithmetic sequence is a sequence where you're adding the same number to the previous number to get the next number. So for example of an arithmetic sequence, we have 3, 7, 11, 15, and 19. We add 4 to the previous number to get to the next one. So what the number that you are adding to get to the next one, that is called the common difference. So that's going to be an important vocab word for you to know, because one of the parts of the homework question they're going to ask you is to find the common difference. Why difference? Since difference means subtraction, well, find that by just doing 7 minus 3, 11 minus 7. That's how you find the common difference. So in this case, it would be 4. Now, explicit is where you just put in the number of terms that you want. Like if you want the 10th term, you put in the 10th term, and it will give you what the value would equal. Okay, D here represents the common difference, so we know in this case is 4. So let's say we wanted to know the value of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th term. Let's say we didn't know the 5th term. So in this case, n is 5. A sub 1, I don't know if you can see that, A sub 1. So this, all right, A sub n means the term you're looking for. So this is what you're looking for. Okay, this is your first term, A sub 1. N is the number term you're looking for, so in this case 5, and D is the difference. So as long as you understand the parts, you guys will have no problem doing this. So we want to know, what does A sub n look like? What is the value of the 4th term? So just substitute. Our first term is 3. We are looking for the 5th term, so 5 minus 1 is 4, and the difference is 4. So when we simplify, we're going to get 19, which is correct, just to prove it to you. That's explicit. It's just you put in the number term you want and you get the value. Recursive, just as a reminder from before break, is where you have to know your prior term, and what you're going to do is you're adding the common difference to the prior term. So you're just adding, so for example, if your prior term is 11, you add 4 and you get the next term. So if we want to know again what the 5th term is, so A sub 5, we're going to take the 4th term, A sub 4, and add the difference. So in this case, we're going to have to know that the 4th term is 15, add the difference, and you get 19. So there are 2 different ways of doing it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to find a general formula for recursive. General form for recursive is always A sub n equals A sub n minus 1 plus D. You just substitute the difference for that. The explicit form is always the following as well, where you're finding the value of your A sub n, but you start with your first term, and you're going to add to that the product of the difference and the number of terms minus 1. Okay, so we're actually going to go through this together now. So this is what you're going to see on my math lab. You're going to have 4 parts. One is to find the common difference. So common difference, I would actually do it in the middle. It's easier to look at 4 minus 1. So common difference, or D, is going to be 3. The 10th term, I'm going to skip that for right now. I mean, you could continue and just count and say, okay, this is the first term, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I just think it takes so much longer to do it this way. And then keep adding 3. So you have 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, and 25. You could do that for the 10th term. But for me, I'd like to use the explicit. So we're going to skip to C right now. We'll skip B and go to C, the recursive rule. So again, just as a reminder for the recursive rule, you're looking for the value of A sub m, and you're taking the number before that, A sub m minus 1, plus the difference. So the general form is A sub n equaling A sub n minus 1 plus 3. This is the answer you want. This is the general form. For D, the explicit rule, you are again looking for the last term, A sub n. But in this case, you're starting with the first term, and to that, you're adding the number of terms minus 1 times the difference. So what we're going to fill in here is our n and our d. That's what we're filling in here. So a sub n equals a sub 1 plus, well, actually we can keep this general, n minus 1 times 3. If you're looking for, and then actually we know the a sub 1, that's a constant. So that's going to be negative 2 plus n minus 1 times 3. So again, you're going to fill in your n when you're looking for this. So if we're looking for a 10th term, you could fill 10 in here and get 9 times 3 is 27 plus negative 2, which is 25. So which we did get here. So what I do is I like to use the recursive. I don't like to use, but I like to use the explicit. Because for recursive, you have to know the 9th term is just too much work. So I like to use the explicit to figure that out. Okay, so the next one. Find the common difference, the 10th term. So common difference. The common difference, which is also D, 14 minus 5, which is the same as 23 minus 14, which is 9. B, I'm going to put a hold on right now. C is going to be, in this case, the recursive rule. So recursive rule, a sub n, we take the prior term, and how do we find the next term? We're going to add d to it. So the only thing that is constant here is our d. So recursive is a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 9. This would be my final answer. Now my math lab has restrictions on it of what n must be greater than or equal to. That's not necessary for us. And for D, if you want to find the explicit rule, again, we want to find a sub n, but we're starting with the first term. And then with the first term, we're going to add to that the product of n minus 1 times D. So again, D is constant. The first term is constant. That doesn't change, so we're going to fill that in. First term here is 5, and we're going to have n minus 1 times 9, or you could do 9 times n minus 1. So for me, if I want to find the 10th term here, I'm going to use the recursive one. So the 10th term, a sub 10, is going to equal 5 plus, it's a 10th term, so 10 minus 1 is 9 times 9. So we're going to have 5 plus 81, which is 86, and that would be my final answer. So again, common difference answer is 9, 10th term is 86. This would be represent your recursive, because recursive is you're using your prior term, and this would be the explicit. Explicit is you just explicitly put in the number term you want and you get your answer right away. Another one. And again, you can pause this if you want and then check your answer with mine before you do my math lab. So again, it's arithmetic, it's telling you that, but if you didn't know that, you could see that the difference is the same. You're adding 7 to each one. So we know that the common difference, D, is going to be 7. Again, I'm going to table the 10th term because I don't want to keep adding it. It takes too much time. So I'm going to now look for the recursive rule, which is a sub m, and then take the term right before it, n minus 1 plus d. So it's going to give us a sub n equals a to sub n minus 1 plus 7. And the difference you could subtract. If you subtract, you'd have minus 7, by the way. All right, explicit rule. A sub m, take the first term, and to that, you are going to add the product of n minus 1 times d. So a sub n is going to equal the first term, which is negative 11, plus n minus 1 times 7. So now I like to use, again, this one to find the 10th term. So the 10th term is negative 11 plus 11 minus 1 is 10 times 7. So negative 11 plus 70, which is 59. And if you kept going, you would see you get 59 in the 10th term. So again, these are the 4 answers. I only gave you 2 problems for homework because if you could do this twice on my math lab, and find all 4 components, then you could do 100 of them. Please email me with any specific questions. Mr. Boland's guys, email him. Have a good day, guys.